Welcome to Wordplay, the podcast where metaphors spiral, sayings unravel, and two pals try and make sense of it all. I'm George.
And I'm Rach. And each week we pick a well-known saying, such as when pigs fly or the cat's out the bag.
And then we run absolutely wild with it.
Sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's chaos, usually both. This is Wordplay. Let's get into it. Wordplay, playing with words that to play when we say them and play with them. Here is some synth keyboard that I'm doing with my mouth because I couldn't be bothered to get my keyboard from under all the junk in my bathroom. Second bathroom, bathroom where there's a keyboard. That was more trumping. Okay, on to the episode.
Oh, so good to see you again.
I know, it's been a million lifetimes, hasn't it?
It has. You've been on vacation and back.
Woohoo! Which has only been 5 days, maybe 6 days, but it feels like a very long time.
Well, it was in the middle of a heat wave, so that probably made it feel a bit longer.
That's true. And a lot of travel. But I'm back now in my home,
In your
feeling
home.
lovely. Not that I didn't have a lovely vacation, but it's nice being home because I like my familiar things.
Yeah. You're just a true tourist.
Tourist. I thought you said tourist then.
I mean,
which I also am a tourist.
Yes, you're both. You are a tourist.
No. I was about to.
What just happened? For our listeners, Rachel's brain just malfunctioned in a very visual way. There was an open mouth, a look of surprise and disbelief, and then instantaneous laughing at oneself.
Oh, it happens so quickly, doesn't it? It's so okay. I mean, I think it's talking to you that is the issue, not the issue. It's the gadget. It's the best. It's the best thing. But like,
just been friends for 4 years, no biggie.
You talking to you is the issue. It's that I've had a ease back into the day, after holiday. And it's not that I haven't been having loads of thoughts, but for some reason, as soon as we start talking, I'm like,
they're gone.
There's so many. No, they're all infiltrating. That's why I malfunctioned, because there was like about 6 different things that I just and then I nearly revealed the topic of the day by using it in the conversation.
Whoa, maybe more than twice, because I heard it nearly come up again when you just said those sentences. But I think that's okay. I mean, it's the purpose of doing this is that we can talk about these things. So if we just kept a secret till the last 5 minutes, then that would be a bit tragic, really, wouldn't it?
Even more disorientating than the chaos of conversation when you do know what's being talked about.
Okay, so we should preface this by saying last week, well, depending on the order that we put these in, actually, I shouldn't speak too soon. We were talking about, are we out of the woods?
We were.
And we did discuss the possibility of moving on to another well-known phrase, which we have completely abandoned because I only just remembered that we had said that in the last.
I'll be honest, no idea what you're talking about. What was it?
See the wood for the trees, bro.
Oh yeah, but that's too many wood episodes in a row. Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And we do want people to be able to see the wood for the trees. And if all the episodes are about woods, then that would be unfortunate.
Too many woods. Is there such a thing? Episode
oh my god!
Watch episode 2. Which, by the way, and I'd be interested if anybody. How does podcast work? I say that like we both already haven't had a podcast. I was about to say let us know in the comments, send us an email, whatever. But I'd be curious if people are interested in having revisiting episodes to episodes we've already done. Because after we did last week's about the woods, I had so many more thoughts. Yeah. Especially when I was on holiday reading a book about getting lost, which you kindly bought me for my birthday.
Well, how was it?
You know what? I'm only about 20 pages in.
Okay.
Because I love the topic and the theme. It's called, what is it called?
Field Guide to Getting Lost.
Field Guide to Getting Lost by Rebecca Solnit. And I love the theme and the topic and I want the info, but I'm very at the whim of writing style. And I find it just like a bit painful because it's quite like philosophical and I love philosophical, but I'm just like, what are you saying?
Wait, you're saying this in the context of our podcast where we rant on and on and on, and I lose track of everything that we're saying all the time. But that is just the way, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and maybe people lose the track of me when I'm speaking,
I don't.
No, and I lose track of me when I'm speaking, but less so you when I'm speaking, and when you're speaking. Anyway, now I've lost the track entirely. My point is, I also think, not to bang on about it too much, but like it was interesting from a story narrative word perspective. Is like I think I want to be taken on the journey. And I feel like it's kind of more like chapters of themes where there's various different bits of things like referenced. So I struggle to visualize, which is the primary thing that I want to do when I'm reading, because it's kind of jumping from thing to thing. So not to shit all over your book, Rebecca, I'll persist, but it's more a stylistic thing than a theme thing for me.
Well, that was lovely. Almost as if I should have paid for the privilege of hearing your thoughts, one might say.
Wait, what's this? Is this you coming up with a new service idea for me?
No, this was me introing our theme for this week's episode.
I was like, she got a marking head on. Is she being like, Rachel, why are you not monetizing this content? I'm confused.
No, not today. Not today.
Yes,
no.
Of course.
Penny for your thoughts.
Exactly. That is the theme for today. Wow.
Yeah,
penny for your thoughts. Give me a penny for your thoughts for penny for your thoughts.
Well, I think it's worth a little bit more than a penny, to be honest. Which is my main thought about this, is that it was clearly a phrase that came about when a penny was worth a lot more than a penny is worth now, right? Because
that would make sense.
I mean, you are a professional speaker for a living, right? Right?
I see where you're going.
Yeah, is that how you would describe yourself, or
yeah, where no, I guess, yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, you do a lot of talking.
In fact, in my last job, where I remember talking to my manager about my career development and being like, babe, I just want to talk for a living. That's all I want to do. And it was like, ha ha ha. And I was like, ha 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 ha. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
So that's my roundabout way of saying, how much is enough money to be able to give your unfiltered thoughts at any given time to somebody that asks? Now, I think this depends on relationship, right? Because if a stranger came up to you, it would be different to say, Mr. Rachel.
Yeah. If a stranger came up to me and said, penny for your thoughts on X topic.
Oh my God, this is reminding me of all those street interviews and it makes me cringe.
Oh, have you ever been asked to do one of those?
No, and it's my life goal to never ever experience it.
Yeah, that the prospect of it stresses me out. However, if they were saying penny for your thoughts, or if they were saying,
that would convince you, the addition,
give you a grand,
additional monetary, a grand, that's getting a little bit Mr. Beast. Come on.
Penny for your thought. Well, what I was going to say is it depends what the topic is. As in, like, if it's a topic I have lots of thoughts on, I don't need paying. Okay, I'll just tell you.
What if they're not saying a topic? What if, because the thing is it's used in a case of somebody has seen you go a little bit quiet, or you have, your mood or energy has shifted a little bit and they're not really sure what to say, but they want to figure out how you're feeling and get a gauge. That's when people use it, right?
If people are like pensive and sort of like,
so it's
penny for yourself.
So it's more not going in with a topic, but like more going in wanting to know exactly what you're thinking without any filter at that moment. What we're saying.
But that's interesting, isn't it? Because really, and I know you could say this for a lot of these like idioms, metaphor, sayings, but really you're just avoiding asking a direct question, which is, what are you thinking? Right?
Yeah. Does that mean that the suggestion of a monetary exchange is a marker of how valuable they find the thoughts?
Maybe.
Feelings?
Yeah, maybe it's like an expression of like, I value your thoughts so much to offer you a penny for them.
I value your thoughts so much. Oh my God.
My thoughts.
Yeah.
How much? Let's put a price on it.
As much that I have just created my first ever group chat on WhatsApp.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's
Um,
your first ever group chat.
yeah, it's my first ever group chat.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's an honor and a privilege.
I should have made a bigger deal about that. Huh.
Yeah. Although, because I was on holiday, I saw it and I scanned, but I
Yeah.
was waiting to come back to fully immerse.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And that was four thoughts.
Yeah. That was exactly for getting pennies. No, distributing pennies, metaphorical pennies
Uh-huh.
amongst highly trusted individuals.
Yeah. And in that instance, it's not just about thoughts, is it? Well, and maybe this is part of it. Like, what are the thoughts we're speaking of? As in, you want opinions, you want what else do you want?
Oh yeah, no, that is So this is
Yeah.
penny for your thoughts with the topic. So I've just completely gone back on what I said before. Just ignore me. I'm an inconsistent girly. Just trying to make it through the world.
There's no such thing as consistency in a conversation. That's what I said. That's my thought. That's penny for my thought on that.
Wait,
As in, like,
hold on a second. Hold on a second. There's no such thing as consistency in a conversation.
Did I just define my communication style? And that's why it's confusing.
Yeah,
because I hear what you're saying. I know. I regretted it as soon as I said it. I guess my point was more that there aren't no, like, this conversation can't go wrong because we are exploring.
Yes.
So, and also, like, who does the topic thing matter?
Well, does it matter in what sense? In defining the metaphor or what? Like,
Yeah,
in the penny being involved?
Yeah, just like, so what, to use the metaphor, does it need to be about a topic or not?
I would say not, because there have been so many times, especially on long car rides with my dad, where I so generally I'm somebody that can yap, right? We are here in this very moment because I'm somebody that can yap. However, I can also go very, very quiet very, very quickly, and for no give no reason on the outside why that might be.
Mm-hmm.
And in those cases, on long drives with my dad, he would occasionally say the phrase "penny for your thoughts."
Okay.
In fact, he's probably the person that I've heard it from the most, especially when not in a work environment. Like, in a work environment, I've heard it a few times, like people wanting to get my opinion on stuff.
Mm-hmm. So in that context, it isn't specific. It's just like an invitation to tell him what's on your mind.
Yeah. And what would be the reason for that? I mean, outside of like standard familial care. Wanting to interact, I guess, with another human being, right?
Yeah. And it not needing to be a direct question. Because the broadness of that kind of freaks me out a bit.
I mean, it freaks me out a bit as well, because I mean, it's not even the things that I'm thinking about at any given time. It's the randomness in which my mind moves through the world. Like, to be able to then respond to the request for thoughts on a penny. but then also explain how I got to that thought and every thought before that had come in the journey. Like, whoa.
You know, just imagine it's just like raining pennies, because like, is it a penny for every individual thought? Because if it is, then we are rich, right? Like, there is like pennies raining everywhere.
I mean,
But
yeah.
like, just was imagining you in the car with like pennies raining down.
Where are they coming from? Because the sunroof isn't open.
They're filling up from the bottom. Oh,
oh God, that sounds like a horror film.
Yeah, it does. I've not seen a penny in a very long time.
Really? I'm gonna bring you a penny. What the heck?
Please do.
You don't have like a bowl somewhere full of pennies and like 2p pieces just hanging around?
I've got some change in my purse from when the kebab shop around the corner made me get cash out because they only accept cash. And then I was annoyed because I had to spend 20 and then get £8 worth of like pound coins. But no, I've never seen I officially have seen a penny.
Okay, this is kind of like personal and tangential, but I mean, we are here and we are best friends. So by the way, I suddenly realized the next day after you told me that story that £8 could have paid for swimming. You were like, what am I going to use £8 for? £8 is exactly swimming. For context, Rachel and I go swimming every week when I go to hers for co-working, and swimming either in the Lido or at the leisure centre. £8.
Whoa.
Exactly.
It's true, but I have a membership, so it's free for me, baby.
Okay. Okay, yes, but this is PM, pre-membership.
Pre-membership. Well, actually, it came in handy because for the Lido you have to use 20p's that you don't get back. So I've changed those pounds into 20p's.
That you don't get back?
Yeah, you know, normally in a pound locker it comes out the other side.
Yeah.
In the Lido, you paying 20p.
Oh my God. I suddenly feel awful for not knowing that and allowing you to donate your precious 20p pieces.
Spend probably a cumulative £1 or something. Otherwise, they're just sitting at the bottom of my bag, these little coins being like, I don't win.
Oh, okay,
just
right.
Coins.
Yeah. Okay, I don't feel bad now. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
But yeah, no, I have so many pennies. I'll bring you some.
In thoughts and in coins.
Yeah, you will never have to pay for my thoughts, for better or worse.
Well, and this is the thing, right? I think I struggle with this one a little bit because I don't really hear it very often. And I mean, I definitely have used it before, but I think I only ever use it when I'm asking somebody for a specific opinion about a specific thing.
Okay.
So I'll be like, penny for your thoughts. I want to buy this. What do you think? You know, like I think that's how I use it.
I think I've heard you use it that exact way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We send enough voice notes to each other that would have come up at least once or twice over the years.
Yeah, for sure. How do you use it? Because you say you've been the receiver of said saying, but how are you a user of said saying?
No. No, because I am way too direct. If I want to know something, I'm going to ask them the question, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to say penny for your thoughts if I feel like someone is experiencing some emotional turmoil. And I'm not going to say penny for your thoughts if I want somebody's opinion on a specific topic. I'm going to say, hey, your energy seems to have shifted. What the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, have you received a text message? Have you seen a reel on Instagram? Like, have you got a news notification? Like, what is happening, or what has just happened in the last however long it was, like 5 minutes, that has affected you? Because I care about you and I'm interested in your psychological situation going on right now.
Right. But that to me makes more sense, because if I'd suddenly gone a bit quiet and pensive and you were like, oh, I wonder what's going on with her. If you just said like, oh, penny for your thoughts, I'd be like, what? What the fuck do you want? Like, about what? What are you talking about? Whereas if you were just like, are you okay? Or like, to what you just said, you know, like, oh, what you even to me in that situation, what are you thinking?
What are you thinking
like
is very broad.
It's broad, but like it. Oh, what you think? What you think? Yeah, it's broad. What are you thinking? Like, what's on your mind? Like, if you notice somebody's sort of gone into a little mind hovel. Oh, like, what's on your mind? Rather than penny for your thought. Is it? Oh, oh God. I think we found ourselves in the realm of Rachel's defiance.
Oh, it's your turn to be defiant this week.
Defiant. No, it's for some reason in that context of like maybe I've gone in, you know, like I've got lost in my own thoughts or I'm in my own bubble or whatever. Somebody saying what's on your mind feels like I'm contradicting myself here because before I said penny for your thoughts is an invitation. But I feel like somebody saying what's on your mind feels like an invitation to express what's on my mind. Somebody saying penny for your thoughts feels like it's something is being thrusted upon me. Like, I am giving you a penny, so you will now give me thoughts. Give me thoughts. And in that context, I got in my stubbornness, I'm just like, fuck off.
Yeah. No, I can't lie. I think I feel the same way. I really do. Especially if nothing negative has happened, or like I'm not feeling any certain type of way. I'm just calm and relaxed and enjoying the silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why do I have to share these thoughts with you, huh? But again, I don't agree with the context, that being the context of usage.
Go on.
Well, I think that the only appropriate use of this phrase is when you're asking somebody for an opinion.
Okay, right, I understand. Okay, so fundamentally, people should only be using it if they have a specific topic in mind. They should not be using it as a vague request for I was going to say attachment, but like bonding.
Yeah. And I don't think that's truth, as in like that's just my opinion. I don't think that's the accepted
no vague bonding allowed
description
in
no vague
Miss Walker's world.
Wait, I was just going to Google it. Where's my Chrome? This is me hiding Chrome so I don't constantly check the news, but then I just search the word Chrome in my bar.
What are you Googling? Because I can tell you some history if you want.
Yeah, I would love to. Tell me some history of penny for your thoughts, please.
Okay, so the origin comes from 16th century English playwright John Hayward. In his 1546 book, a dialogue containing the number of in effect of all the proverbs in the English tongue.
Wow.
So it's Tudor. So we're thinking, wait, Henry VIII, that's Tudor, right? I'm forgetting my history lessons. And at the time, a penny was considered, apparently, a small yet tangible amount of money. So it was like, I'll give you a little bit of money and you give me your inner musings. Yeah. So commodification of thought. I mean,
so really the way that I define using it is actually just not quote unquote right.
I mean, I think your rejection of the use of it like without any topic or like context given, it could still align with its original meaning, because it's like there are philosophers in the world, right? And their whole job is sharing thoughts. That is literally all they do. They think, they share them, they receive some kind of monetary value through either books or documentaries or interviews or podcasts, or
I mean, it's the dream.
Is it?
Well, as we were saying earlier, really, all I want in life is to just get paid to talk. So, like, actually, why do I have such an issue with this modification of thoughts?
I suppose so. The context for being a philosopher is people are resistant to thinking about things deeply, and therefore they want to pay somebody else to do it.
Ooh.
Right?
And then share their wisdom with them.
Right.
For a penny.
And like, okay, feel free to slap me if this is an inappropriate comparison.
I've never heard you speak in such extreme terms. Go on.
However, I mean, this is your business I'm about to talk about. So business as in like professional, not business as in like your secrets, by the way, just so you don't tense up. But like in the comparison that I would make with your business is you are a coach because people have to pay to have space for somebody else to think about their issues for them, to be able to understand and process them and their world better.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, what?
I'm just laughing at the absolute irony that I've just rejected the meaning of this phrase in a quite a strong way, then realize that it's actually how I make a living.
Yes.
But you know what it is? My rejection of it is not the monetization of it. It is, if I am somebody thinking, I don't like the idea that somebody will just appear and almost demand my thoughts of me for money.
Okay, yeah.
Like, more as a recipient of that.
Yeah.
Something about it makes me feel like, and I think maybe it's tied to this idea that like if you've gone a bit pensive or in your own thoughts, it's very jarring for somebody to suddenly. Do you ever have this where like when somebody interrupts you when you're in the middle of doing something that you're so like mentally in? I feel like I've just been like slapped on the back, like flustered, like they've suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, or like almost like they've caught me naked. Like it's a really weird, like embarrassing feeling, but it's just like a jarringness of like I was in my own world and now I'm suddenly being interrupted out of it, and I don't like that.
Okay, question. How much of that feeling is to do with you needing to put your thoughts in a digestible format for somebody else before you put it out into the world?
Probably.
Or is it just because you were focused on a task?
I think it's both. So like as an example, what I'm thinking about is like when I used to work with other people, right? And I'm in the office and I'm working on something. If somebody comes and asks me a question unrelated to what I'm working on, I think the context switch of that is like, equally, if they came to ask me to give them information, even if I was currently working on it, to what you just said, there's something in that. How do I translate all of this thought into something that is communicative, that is also like
yeah have you had experiences where people have come up to you and said penny for your thoughts? Because I shared mine, but and I've heard you say it.
I must have done. That was a weird rhythm, pitch, tone, music. I must have done, but I can't really remember any. I'm actually I feel like this is going to be the episode of the inconsistent / the hypocrisy, because I've literally just given you that spiel, but I was once telling Mr. Rachel about how I'd asked somebody a question at work and he was like, honestly, I think you would drive me mad. Because no context in the middle of like just all sitting there doing work. I can't remember what my question was, but I asked somebody who I knew would enjoy the question. It was something like, what is your opinion on eagles? Do you know what I mean?
I love that. I love that.
Right?
Oh my God.
But if you're the recipient of that and you're not in... no, you know what? I take back the thing I was about to take back. Because what I was going to say is, to what I just said, I'd find that really jarring if I'm focusing. I wouldn't, because it's an interesting question. I would be straight in there. So
right, because it's an interesting question. Whereas if someone comes up to you in the middle of work and says, Penny, for your thoughts, like, excuse me, come to me with purpose, come to me with sparkle, come to me with interest.
Yeah, but you know what? When you said somebody comes up to you at work and says, Penny, for your thoughts, I already lit up inside, because I like giving people my opinion.
On
if
what?
They want it.
Or anything.
Oh, okay. I'm again doing context though. If somebody said, Penny, for your thoughts, can you tell me what you think about this thing I've written?
Oh, okay, right. So, but if they just came up to you with no context whatsoever and said, Penny, for your thoughts in the middle of your workday,
I think they were mad.
Do you know, it depends on the person as well. It depends on the person, because if I was working in an office with you, imagine, never get anything done ever, or take over the world, no in between. And you came up and said, Penny, for your thoughts, I would slam my hands onto the table, shout well into your face, and give you everything that I'd thought from the moment I'd woken up that day. Because I know that A, you will find it interesting. B, we will go on many different tangents that will be interesting also. And C, like, you care about me and are invested in my life for better or worse, you know? Till death do us part.
Okay. Now, what I'm about to say next, just want to clarify, is not a reflection of a commitment to our friendship.
Oh, am I about to get my heart broken here? Is that what's going to happen?
I'm just intrigued by that being your reaction, because I understand all of that, as in, like, when it's a person that you would want to give your thoughts to, or you know will enjoy your thoughts.
Yes.
But actually, if I play out that scenario, if we were in an office together and you walked over and said, Penny, for your thoughts,
yeah,
I would say, about what?
Really?
Yeah. Because it's so wild to me that someone would be asking blanket reach to know about all of my thoughts in that. Like, what thought? Which ones? Specify.
Even if it was me and we'd had already 10 conversations that day on various topics, you wouldn't just pick up on one of those?
Wouldn't. No, I'd have no.
Wow.
Only because of this conversation now, I would know what you mean. And I would know to just say a thought, Penny, for your thoughts. But I would just be like, about what?
Wow. Huh. Okay.
But this makes sense if your experience of this question is driving with your dad, who is asking it for that reason, versus me, who cannot remember ever being asked this question, but must have been, but associates it with giving an opinion, I guess.
I mean, yeah. The other thing that's in my mind is you literally have a Substack.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, and that is you broadcasting your thoughts out to people that have pressed subscribe, and that subscribe button is essentially a penny for your thoughts button.
Well, I was about to say, but nobody's asked for them. But I mean, they have.
They absolutely have. They've asked for them to be delivered to their phone. How much more personal can you get?
So then, what's the
computer?
Well, and actually, my entire creative life,
and
everything I do, really is is just from my thought. As in, like, that's how I operate. I have a thought and I do a thing. I have a thought, I have an idea, I do a thing. So, like, really, everything I do is distributing thoughts for pennies.
Okay. Is there a life that isn't that? Can I ask?
For me personally?
Well, no, not for you personally. That's the only way that you can live.
This is why you never want to make it into my voice note circle, because you'll just get my thoughts all the time.
Oh, well, no, actually, not enough. For me, really. Not enough. And there aren't enough thoughts. Clearly, I have not been paying my pennies on time.
your question was, do you think there's a life that exists without
without it being defined by a penny for your thoughts?
It's the penny that throws me off, really.
But we live in a capitalist. Okay, so in our contextual bubble, we live in a capitalist society, right? So really, like, I don't know, like 80% of everything that we do is to climb that ladder, and the result of that is to collect our pennies.
Is in the Tudor historical times of this saying, were they giving a literal penny, an actual penny in exchange?
Yeah.
Penny for your thoughts.
I guess you would only give your pennies to people that you know cared about their opinion, like lawyers. I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd pay a good penny for legal advice, I'm sure. Also, like, I think maybe like village elders, people that have the wisdom.
I think maybe I feel like in this one in particular, it's transcended for me monetary value to just like the concept of value.
Oh God. Okay.
Like it's because that's what it's being used as now, right? If you say it to someone, you're not giving them a literal penny, but you're communicating that you value what it is that they have to say.
Yes.
Thought I had more to say about that, but I don't know.
And until you subscribe to their paywall situation, that you don't get access to that.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, writers at magazines, they have like 100% gone on the penny for your thoughts track. They have the thoughts, they write it down, it gets published. And if you're a subscriber to the magazine, you go into the website and you can see all of their thoughts. But if you're not, you hit a paywall and it says, if you want to hear these thoughts, you're going to have to give us a penny.
Yeah.
I've lost my track.
Well, and I might have about to start a slightly different track, but related, which is, there's another, despite being somebody that works and exists in the world where all I do is share my thoughts, really, I have a very strong opinion about the fact that I think we live in a world now where everybody wants to give a thought and opinion about everything.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes people should just shut up for a while and not feel like they always have to have to share their view, and just like chill and listen.
There's not enough of that in the world. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so the initiator of penny for your thoughts, though, they are the listener, or they should be the listener. If they are coming over to you and asking for your thoughts, they should be the listener. Sometimes they are not friends. Sometimes they are not. Sometimes they ask your opinion, they pretend they are listening, and then they turn around and do completely the opposite. So make of that what you will.
Although it's penny for your thoughts, not penny for your thoughts and then I'll follow your advice, I suppose.
Yeah, okay. But yeah. But if people are investing to be able to hear my inner thoughts, yeah, maybe I need to charge more. I'm not talking about marketing right now. I'm talking about like full on like friendship, relationship, society, web vibes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just processing.
I know. But the thing is that I'm a very trusting person, and I like making friends, and I like meeting new people. And you can't what's the phrase? You can't make money without money. That's not the phrase. You can't
have money to earn money. You can't.
Yeah, you need money to make money. You need money to make money. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, you need to be giving out thoughts.
Yes.
To be making money.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, you need to You need to have boundaries and also share your inner thoughts without a penny being involved sometimes.
Yes. Well, yes. And also, like, I think maybe what you're getting to a bit is you can be selective as to who you accept the penny from for your thoughts. Like, you can be like, is this transaction worth it for me?
Which with capitalism and a monetary system becomes easier, because without it, then it's harder to distinguish as to whether, like, if somebody just comes up to you and says penny for your thoughts, it's not an actual penny. So
yeah,
like how do you like set that setting that boundary is harder when there's not an actual penny involved, at least for me, because I love physical things.
Well, and then that's when it's a value exchange, isn't it? I guess, right? I guess, isn't it? I guess, right? It's like, I don't know what that was. Like, it's a transaction of what is it worth it for me, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, yes, and where does therapy sit in this?
Well, hold on. You're giving them pennies for your own thoughts.
Yes, I'm giving you thoughts and pennies.
And I guess that's to say, similar to coaching in that sense, right? Which is to what you said earlier. Oh, I don't know.
I suppose, right, okay, I'm giving them my thoughts, but I'm giving them pennies and thoughts, but it is in order for them to eventually perhaps share a reflection which could be seen as a thought. You know, a good therapist will never be like, well, my opinion is this and this and this and this because I think blah blah blah, but they will listen to they will listen. There we go. They will listen. Yes. And then they will think about all of their wisdom, going back to the shaman thing. Mm-hmm. And then they will share their reflections and musings, going back to the philosophy thing.
I love the word musics.
Me too.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I need
and I'm starting to think maybe there should be an adjacent thing to this that's not penny for your thoughts, but like penny for your ears. If more people need to be listening.
Yeah. And then yeah, and that would need to be licensed, because you'd want somebody that like is not good at faking listening. I've met too many people that are really good at pretending to listen and care. So you would need to license that like heavily, right?
You're like, give me a money back guarantee. What's my warranty on these ears for this penny?
Oh God. That just reminded me of the bit in Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix, when they're like dangling the little ear so they can hear the conversation at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where we've landed with this one. Although, it's not about the destination, is it?
Well, it's not about the destination, but have you got a better version? Penny for your ears, is that what you're sticking with?
I think it's penny for your ears. Isn't it really? Well, penny for your ears.
Are you seeing how it sits with you right now?
Yeah. Well, it was me trying to backtrack through the conversation, but I think after being on holiday, I'm out of practice because I'm lost. I've lost myself.
That's okay. Okay. Key takeaways for me: a penny is not the same monetary value as it used to be, right? Mm-hmm. In the Tudor age, it meant something more significant, and now I feel like the phrase probably has, for want of a better phrase, lost its value a little bit. Because like it's a tiny little amount. However, I feel like it comes under the category of things people say to show you that they care indirectly, not care indirectly, I mean show you indirectly that they care. I watched a linguist on my Instagram last week or something, delve into why we say phrases like text me when you get back, and it's actually nothing to do with like the text or anything. It's a like a bid to say, hey, I care about you. That's all it is.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like this fits into that category, you know?
This makes sense on that, because my response when anyone says that to me is, I will if I remember. And they're never concerned. So
yeah. And I forget all the time. Unless I'm sharing WhatsApp location, the likelihood of me texting you that I am home is probably about 2%. I can't lie. But after I watched that, I was like, oh, actually, no, it doesn't matter so much. It's them saying, I care about you.
Yeah. And I see that. I think that is probably the main takeaway from this, right? Is it's an expression of that interest or care. And I think the conclusion I've actually reached, and I don't know what it is about this one, because I love a metaphor saying, like, I love an indirect way to communicate something. But I really just feel in this one, like, say what you mean. Like, ask the question.
100%.
Because I think that also demonstrates care. Oh, what are you thinking about? Oh, I really value your opinion about this. Oh, I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, like, I just think there's actually so many other better ways you could directly ask that still communicate that you care.
And I think it's, yeah, like you said, like in our previous episodes, we talked a bit about how these idioms and metaphors are in place because sometimes our language is restricted, but in other situations we've forgotten how to really speak in a way that is honest and direct and unashamedly, oh my gosh, I can't get my mouth around that, but you know what I mean. Loving and caring.
Yeah.
And whether that is to do with the like evolution of our culture, or whether it's to do with shame or being scared of the response, or you know what, maybe it's just because our brains require things to be clear and direct.
Maybe
more than neurotypical allies.
But you know what? You've just made me have an additional thought on this, which is to that, right? Often we're not direct because it feels quite vulnerable to be direct. And so asking for somebody's opinion when you don't feel like you've given them anything in return feels more exposing. So it's like a bit of a way to be like, I'm going to ask you for something, but it's okay because I've given you a penny, even though that's not what has occurred.
Yeah, even though it's not real.
It just sort of takes the edge off, perhaps.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, take this, listeners, as your sign to message or go up to your loved ones right now, and with true care and intention, ask them a question that you want to know the answer to about them. And I'm sure that they will love it.
Boom. And I'm just thinking about all of the other episodes that I've probably said penny for your thoughts without even realizing, even though I say I hate the saying.
And don't stop using phrases just because they don't make sense if you love them. There we go.
That's true. Because I really just enjoy the word penny, to be honest. But there you go. Sweet.
Potential future dog name.
Penny. No, it reminds me of my physics teacher who's called Penny Fenge.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, she got the absolute shit ripped out of a poor woman.
Okay. And on that note, thank you all so much for listening to another episode of Wordplay.
Do. I need to write a jingle, but I haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna make some noises now. There you go.
Love it.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Episode's over, but you don't want to miss the outro. Thanks for spiraling through another metaphor with us.
If you like this episode, tell your mates, leave us a review, or shout a saying at us online.
You can find me, Rach, over on YouTube at Rach Does YouTube.
And you can find me, George, watching Rach's videos over on YouTube, but also on Instagram at makinga.fuss.